Welcome everybody to the 44th live stream of the Advanced Dungeons and Dynamics 365 Bare Bones Configuration series. So it took me a little bit to get that out. Now, in this series, for those of you that have just stumbled upon us, what we're doing is we're setting up Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations from the ground up. So we started with nothing, and over the past 43 episodes, what we've done is we've configured all the financials, and we're moving on to the supply chain. So we've gone through a lot. So if this is your first time to watch this, and if you like it, then go back to the beginning and start working through this and set up Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations yourself. So what we're going to be working through today is we're going to be creating dimensional products. So dimensional products are products that have dimensions to them, or attributes, or they have variants. And the example that we're going to create, I was going to create a cauldron, but actually we're going to create some boots. And boots have a number of different dimensions to them, but the ones that we're going to worry about for these leather boots are the size: small, medium, large. We're not going to get fancy with shoe size, like so people in Faerûnian just are either small, medium, or large. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up all this configuration and sort of work through that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to, if I find my mouse, what we're doing is we're working through inside of our lab environment. So you can have a lab environment like this if you want to work through it, or you can just download the virtual machine from Lifecycle Services while it's still up, and work through this yourself and create your own database and do that. And just to give you a little bit of context, we're currently working through the products, and we've got some of the release products that we've created. So we've created some armor, and also we've created some services. So we did that in the last episode. Now, so what we're going to do is every time we do this, we work through the through the bare bones configuration guide. So this is what we're going to be working through in the system. And if I go back, I actually went a little bit too far to see what was going on. We're going to start with a little bit of setup, and we need to create dimensional groups. Now, dimensional groups are applied to a product that says whether it has color, or whether it has a style, or whether it has a size associated with it. So we need to configure these before we move on. Then we'll create a product. We'll create our boots in the system. So let's go over and let's start working through that. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off and we're going to create our dimensional groups. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for, let me make this full screen here, our product dimensional groups. And we can, let me see, spell that right. So we can find this through the menu search, and we can find product dimensional groups, but we can also see that this is inside of the product through the PIM system, through product information management. So we can go over to here and go down to product information management, and where was it? It was setup and dimensions, and we've got product dimension groups. So we already set up the storage and the tracking, so we're actually going into a new area in the system. And this is where we go out and really specify how we want these to be configured. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see what it says. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of dimension groups. And the first one, I think I go, I want the name to be config. And this is going to be configuration. And let's save that. And what this has done is this has automatically filled in all of the different types of dimensions that we can have here. and it's gone out and created that for us. So now the configuration is special because the configuration is if we don't have size, color, or style, or if we're using the product configurator, then configuration is a dimension that we can use that says that has sort of like a variation or something that's not size, color, or style. But what we're going to do is create another one, which is size. And we're going to save that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to select the size dimension, and then we're going to turn off the configuration. So what this says that if I use this size configuration, then it's just going to allow me to have the size. It will all sort of come clear as we move through. So let's create another one, which is color, and save that. And we'll do the same here. And we'll create another one, which is style. And we're going to check the style there. Now, also, we may have something which has a size and a color. For example, a tunic may have different colors. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say color size. And what we can do is we can say we could have color and size here and save that away. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to go out and create a number of different variations here. So we're going to have color, style, so we're going to have style and color. Then also the other variations, we've got color and size, we've got color and style. So we would also have size and color and size and style. So size, color, actually, we've already got that, so let me delete that. So I think what we're missing is we're missing the size and style. So and then style, spell that right. And then also we may have one more, which is color, size, style. So all I'm doing here is I'm just going and creating all the different combinations we have. We're not going to worry about version here for now. That's something that we'll configure possibly later on. But I've now said that these are all the different ways that we can manage our dimensional product. So now what we're going to do, now that we've done that, we're going to move on, and we're actually going to create a dimensional product. What we're going to do is we're going to introduce something that we haven't gone into yet, which is the product masters. And maybe I'll look at that before we continue on. Then we're going to have the different dimensions that are associated with it. And then we're going to explore that and then release the product dimensions out to everybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here to the server. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the released products. So before we do that, what I'll point out is that what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're actually going to see that there's a product master that gets created in the system. And something that we haven't looked at is that if I'm here and looking at the release products, I can actually go out and look at the products that have been created, and there'll be a similar product that's set up here in the system. So but these are going to be the product masters or the parent level, as opposed to, or the product at the parent level, maybe not a product master. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and create a new product. So I'm going to go to the release product, and I'm going to create a new product. And then I'm going to call this boots. and let's just call these boots leather. Let's just call these boots for now. And the search for this is going to be clothing, and this is going to be boots. Although actually I may need to go back. So what we're going to do, one thing that we need to do is we need to say, so if I was creating just a normal product, then I'd go through this. So this is a learning exercise. But what I want to do is I want to say that this is a product master. So this is now the major change that is here is that now this dimension group pops up to say what do we want to use for this. And I'm going to say that we're going to have these broken out into size. So what this is going to do is say, now that when I created my product, then I need to not only have the boots as the product, but there's going to be another dimension or a product dimension, which is called size, which I'm going to have to specify. Now we can also go out and we can have different types of configurations. But what we're going to do is we're going to stick with this predefined variant, which says, I'm going to tell you what the sizes are. We're not going to use a configurator. We're not going to use any sort of special thing like that. And then we don't have an item model group. We don't have an item group. We will store these at the location, just like everything else, and we won't track these. There's no badge or serial number that we need to worry about. We don't have a buyer group. And then I'm going to, let me see. Let's stick with eaches for now. It's going to be clever and say that I want to inventory them by pair, or actually, yeah, we'll leave it at that. And then I'm not quite sure of the price of the boots. Let me just ask ChatGPT. So boots cost 2 gold pieces each. So the sales price is going to be actually 24 32 Farron gold pieces, because it's 12.6. So I think it's 24. And we can buy those for let's say 18 gold pieces, and we'll inventory it for 18 Farron standard dollars as well. So what I've now done is I've created my product, and let's change the image here. And I've got just copy this. Let's add a new image here for the boots, just to be nice. We'll go to our pictures. And let's look at these. Choose the boots. Then we should be able to upload those. So now we've got a picture of our boots, fancy looking boots, if you ask me. And so now we've got our set up in the system. This is the first we have. Now, this is because the additional product, then we need to create the dimensions for it. So what we want to do is we want to go to the product, and we want to go to product dimensions. And this is where we specify all the different dimensions that we have for our boots. And I'm going to say that the size is small. and medium, and large. So I'm not going to, and maybe we can have extra large. So, and if we're doing this in the modern world, then we'd have like size 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so forth. But Faerûn isn't that modern, so they just have small, medium, large, and extra large. Now, something that I've found out that these dimensions work. Work well for products that have products that are round about the same size and package the same, and they weigh around about the same, and they're handled the same way. I've tried doing this with things that are different sizes. For example, the example that I've got in the guide is for a cauldron, but I think about that as small cauldron versus a large cauldron versus an extra large one. They're managed differently, and they're going to have different weights. They're going to have different volume dimensions. So sometimes it doesn't make sense for us to have dimensions for some products if they're really strange sizes. But for clothing and boots, or example, maybe we have strength of potion, maybe we have we could have wands that are made out of different types of wood. All of those are the same, so we can have different dimensions that are associated with them. So now I'm going to go out and create my dimensions. Now we're not done yet, because what we need to do is so we've got our products, but if we look at the product variants, so the variants are the types of products that, or the number of different combinations that we can have with our products here. We don't see any variants here. When I go out and start using this product, if I don't have any variants, then it's going to say I need to have a size, but I haven't released out any sizes along with that. So we need to go out and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to product, and I'm going to go to release product variants. And what we're going to do here is we're going to say what are the different combinations and permutations that we may have here for our products. So now I could go out and I could create a new one here, and I could say that this is size small, medium, large, and I could do this by hand. But what I want to do is, because I know that I'm only going to have I've got certain variants that I've set, and there aren't any invalid combinations, and I'm going to say generate the variants. I'm going to say I want to have all the sizes here. So what this is saying is that we've now got boots of size large, medium, small, extra large. And what I can do is I can just say I want to select all of these and then create them. So now I'm going out and I'm creating a variant here. And now I've got some details that are associated with this. So I actually do have weight. No, the replenishment weights are a little bit different. So what I've got is I've got the configuration for each of these items. Now I can go out and I could change this and edit this. So I'm going to say the search name is clothing, boots, large. So what I'm now doing is I can modify these variants to have a better description. So boots, medium. and small. And so what I've got now is whenever I see these products showing up, then it's actually going to have a better description that's associated with it for large, medium, small, and extra large. If we didn't want to have, for example, extra large boots, then, or we wanted to have extra small boots, then we could, or we don't want to have them, then we don't release out this variant and we don't manage it. Now, something else that we'll get into later on, then each one of these variants has their own planning options. They also can have their own material that's associated with for the creation of these items. So, for example, if we're king leather boots, then the large is going to have slightly more leather used as we move through and create this in the system. So now when I return back, let me go back here, then what we're going to see is we're going to see the variants, and then we're going to see, if I refresh this, that we now have variants that are associated with our product. Something else. Then each one of these items, image. So now it doesn't make super sense with the boots to have their own image, but if, for example, you had a tunic or if you had a cloak and it had different colors, then what you can do is you could have the image of that product in the specific color, or if there is a specific style that's associated with it, then you can go out and you can have additional images. So I'm just doing this to tidy things up and to make it complete, but it gives you an idea that you can have personalized images here for each of the product variants as well. So now that we've created this, when I go back to my release products, then what we're going to see is we've now got our boots here, but the boots have a product subtype of product master. And that's important because, say, for example, if we want to go and look at the products, the parent level of this, then there's three different menu items here. So the first one says that I want to look at all the company-wide product definitions. And then also there's another one for products. And you'll notice that the boots aren't showing up here because they're a product master. But also we have the product master here, which is for just the boots. So this is going to show us all the items that are dimensional. And then also if I go to the product variants, then we're going to see all of the, this is another way that we can go and maintain the information about our product variant directly here through the menu. Now, one final thing that we'll do here is, say, for example, let's go to the release products and we'll create one more. And let's create this, and this is going to be a tunic. And for those of you that don't know what a tunic is a shirt. So this is going to be clothing tunic. And for this, what we're going to do is we're going to set this up as color and size. So let's get fancy with this, and then we're going to store it by location. It's going to be it's not going to be tracked. We're going to sell these by each, and I'm just finding out the price for the tunic. So that's five silver pieces, which is half a gold piece. So that's going to be 6.3. Let's say this is 5.7. 6.3 Faerûnian standard dollars. We're going to create that. And we're going to go through the same process where I go to my product and I go to my product dimensions. But now what we have is we've got two dimensions that we're managing here. So let's start with the color, and we'll have white. Tan and black. So we've got our color sizes here, and we're going to have small. Let's do this. Medium. Large. Extra large. And we'll have XXL. So now we've got our colors of tan and so forth, and then also we've got our colors. So now that what I can do is for this, I'm going to go through the same process. I'm going to go to the product dimensions. Sorry, I'm going to go to the release product variants, and I'm going to do a variant selection here. And now what I'm doing is I'm saying I want to suggest all of the different combinations and permutations that we may have. So now what we've got is we've got a couple of different options. So we've got a large black tunic, we've got a large tan tunic, we've got a large white tunic. So let's say that we only have the tan tunic in a medium and small, and we only have, let's say, the extra large in white. So what we're not selecting all of the different combinations we've got here, but we're going out and creating, now we've got all of these different sort of variations of the product variants that we can track in the system. And again, we could go out, I haven't created an image for a tunic, but I'll probably do that. And we can have all the variants show up here, and then when I refresh this, then we'll see that we've got all of these different options here for our product with our variants, with our different dimensions. So you can slice and dice, and you can go out and you can have any different combination you may want for these product variants set up in the system. And we're just going to create them. And then again, if we go over and look at the product variants, then now we can see that we've got boots and we've got tunics, and we could go out and we could group these by the column so that we can see just the core information here. And if I go out and look at these, then I may want to go out and modify this and say this is going to be small white. This will be clothing, tunic, I think, small white as the search name. So there's going to be a little bit more administration that we go out and do here with these items. So the more combinations you have, the more sort of tidy up that you may have with the product variants as you're sort of working through them. So this is what we've done. Let me just check the documentation. We'll go over to here. So this was a short session. It was sort of like the services that we set up. But what we're doing is we're working through these, and we're just creating additional dimensions. So that's all we are doing here in this. And let me see. So we've actually, I'm just looking through, we managed the controls, we created products and services, we quickly created product dimensions. So in the next session, what we're going to do is we're going to set up categories and attributes. We'll probably spend a little bit of time on there, but we've gone out and we've done something pretty cool. We've created some additional products, and in this case, we've created the dimensional products. So with that said, what we'll do is we'll close off today. We've spent, it looks like 31 minutes or so working through this, and I like the product creation. It's fun, and it's interesting to go out and create new products. And if anyone has any questions, and don't hesitate to send us a chat on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, depending on where you're watching this. I'd love to hear your comments and also any suggestions that we may have. If you're looking to support this project, this sort of grassroots how to configure or roll your own Dynamics 365, then go to the Patreon side and support us. Every copper coin helps, and that's at patreon.com/adnd365.com. And if you're interested in the guide that I'm working through, or the set of guides that I'm working through, then go to adnd365, adnd365.com/start, and you'll be able to find all the manuals that we've been creating over time. So with that said, I'll catch everybody on the next live stream, which should be in a couple of days. So have a great day, and peace out.